Welcome back, everybody. We want to learn today how to use the completing the square method to solve quadratic equations. Let's go straight to it. Use the completing the square method to solve the quadratic equation x squared plus x minus 90 equals 0. The first thing we do is to check to make sure that the coefficient of x squared is 1, and it's already 1 here, so we can go straight to it. I'm going to move the constant, which is minus 90, to the right hand side. That means x squared plus x equals 90. Now I'll add the square of half the coefficient of x to both sides. The coefficient of x is 1 and half of that is 1 over 2. So the square of half the coefficient of x will be 1 over 2 squared. And now I'm adding that to both sides. That simply means x squared plus x plus 1 over 2 squared equals 90 plus 1 over 2 squared. Now I can write this left hand side. Okay, well, let me write this first. That simply means x squared plus x plus 1 over 4 equals 90 plus 1 over 4. Now the whole of this left hand side is the same as x plus 1 over 2 all squared. So that's what we are supposed to do. We're supposed to write the left hand side as a square, and it's going to be the same as x plus half the coefficient of x, half the coefficient of x, which is 1 over 2. If you expand x plus 1 over 2, expand the square of x plus 1 over 2, you are going to get x squared plus x plus 1 over 4. So that simply means 90 plus 1 over 4 is going to be 361 over 4. Now finding the square roots of both sides. X plus 1 over 2 will be equal to the square root of 361 over 4, which simply means x plus 1 over 2 equals plus or minus 19 over 2. The square root of 361 is 19, and the square root of 4 is 2. And there will be plus or minus because squares always have 2 roots. Now this simply means x equals minus 1 over 2 plus or minus 19 over 2, which therefore means x equals minus 1 over 2 plus 19 over 2, or x equals minus 1 over 2 minus 19 over 2. And that simply means x equals minus 1 over 2 plus 19, minus 1 over 2 plus 19 over 2 is 18 over 2, which is 9, or x equals minus 1 over 2 minus 19 over 2 is minus 20 over 2, which is minus 10. And that's it, very, very simply. Let me take another example with the coefficient of x squared greater than 1. Solve 2x squared plus x minus 21 equals 0 by the completing the square method. The coefficient of x squared here is not 1, so I have to divide through by that value to make it 1. 0 over 2 is still 0, so I don't need to do that. This simply means x squared plus 1 over 2x minus 21 over 2 equals 0. And now I can move the constants to the left hand side, and it means x squared plus 1 over 2x equals 21 over 2. Now I'm adding the square of half the coefficient of x to both sides. The coefficient of x is 1 over 2. Half of that means 1 over 2 times 1 over 2, which is 1 over 4. So I'm adding the square of 1 over 4 to both sides. That simply means x squared plus 1 over 2x plus 1 over 4 squared equals 21 over 2 plus 1 over 4 squared. And this simply means x squared plus half x plus 1 over 16 equals 21 over 2 plus 1 over 16. And now I can write this left hand side as a square, and that simply means x plus half the coefficient of x, which is 1 over 4 all squared, equals 21 over 2 plus 1 over 16. That means x plus 1 over 4 all squared equals, if we work this out, 21 over 2 plus 1 over 16 is the same as that's going to be if you like 16, 2 here 16, 2 here 8, 168. That's 169 actually. That's 169 over 16. Now finding the square roots of both sides, x plus 1 over 4 will be equal to the square root of 169 over 16, which means x plus 1 over 4 equals plus or minus 13 over 4, and that means x equals minus 1 over 4 plus or minus 13 over 4, which means x equals minus 1 over 4 plus 13 over 4, or x equals minus 1 over 4 minus 13 over 4, and that simply means x equals 12 over 4, which is 3, or x equals minus 14 over 4, which is minus 7 over 2. And that's it, very, very simply. So thank you very much. I hope you understood that. Catch you in the next, and stay blessed.